Hey guys, I thought I'd do a little bit of a different style video today because this requires a lot of drawing of polygons and such, so I thought I'll do it this way and see how it goes. This video is the basics of particularly the terminology behind the different polygons we'll be looking at and how to identify the different types as well. So this I've just got straight from the Cambridge website. It's actually also in your textbook. And this is 9A, and then 9B and so on goes on to the different types of polygons and triangles and stuff. Anyway, this is the basics. So in terms of language, we've got a couple of words to begin with. So when we say polygon, we mean a closed plane figure with with straight sides. So plane, we mean like a singular plane, as in like 2D shape. A vertex, when the plural is vertice, is a point where two sides of the shape meet. Okay, and you can see a little picture there, vertex on the side. Then a convex and a non-convex polygons. Okay, so the way to think about that is a convex has all of its vertices pointed outwards, and all of our internal angles are smaller than 180 degrees for convex. I'll just grab my pen up and draw a little bit about that. Okay, so when we're talking about the internal angles, we're talking about these here, so the angle between those two lines, for as an example. So with convex, they are smaller than 180 degrees, and where we have non-convex polygons, that's talking almost like we've had one of the sides pushed in compared to convex, and the internal angle, as you can see, one of them there, oh, that's terrible, let me try that again. One of them there is like bigger than 180 degrees. Alright, so they're the difference between convex and non-convex. It just has to be one angle like that for it to be classified as non-convex. And you can see it quite clearly when you look at polygons. Okay, there's a table in there that describes the words associated with the different number of sides, and that's how we classify polygons. So that's where they get their names from. So just to, like lots of them you'll know already, but just be aware some of them, like 7, have 2 different names that can be used. And for trigon, I'll be honest, I've never heard a triangle referred to as that, but just be aware, yeah, that if you can have multiple names. You might not be aware of the 11 and 12-sided polygons, undecagon and dodecagon. So that's kind of up to you to make sure you remember those and learn those. That's in your textbook. Alright, a couple of other terms. So we've got regular versus irregular pentagons. So our regular pentagons, we're going to try not to call them words like normal and weird or usual or standard. We try to use the words regular and irregular. And the real thing there is that a regular polygon has equal lengths sides, and because of that they have equal angles as well on the inside. An irregular polygon, in this case a pentagon, a 5-sided shape, has different lengths of sides, but there are still 5 in this example, and because the sides are different lengths, angles are different sides as well, different sizes as well. Okay, a couple of other things. Polygons are usually named with capital letters, and we say them in order to identify points on the polygons, but also a polygon that we're seeing. So here this is quadrilateral for 4, and the name of this particular one is ABCD. And when you get into some more complex problems where it might have 1 or 2 or 3 polygons in our question, that's when that labeling becomes really important. Lastly, a diagonal is a segment, so a line segment that joins 2 vertices, and it divides the shape into 2 parts per diagonal. So here, if I just have my one diagonal, there'd be 2 parts. Here I've got 2 diagonals, so there's 4 parts there. Okay, so let's do a couple of questions. Again, these are just straight from your textbook. And they're really good types of questions as well. So I'm going to read the questions and talk about them, and then I'll flick back to the Cambridge website page and we'll go through the answers. So we've got consider these 3 polygons. So looking at the different types, and we're thinking about the terms that we spoke about earlier. So convex and concave, plus also regular and irregular. Also, you need to think about how many sides they have as well. Okay, so the 3 shapes are an example of what type of polygon. So that question's telling you they've actually got something in common. Okay, and if you have a look, they've got 1 concave and 1 convex, 1 regular and 2 irregular. So the only other thing that they could really have in common is the amount of sides. So let's count them to be sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5. Okay, so the answer to A would be that they're all pentagons of some sort. Okay, which shape or shapes are convex and why? So convex meaning that all of the angles inside are less than 180 degrees. And you can see that just by looking at them, really. So the answer to that would be this one is convex and this one is convex. The question asks why, and you would say because all the internal angles are less than 180 degrees. That's the definition of a convex shape. Don't say things like, or because they're all pushed out or something. That's not going to be enough mathematical information. Okay, C is like the opposite. So which shapes are non-convex and why? This is our non-convex shape. Non-convex shape. And C shape, oh my gosh. And the reason why it's a non-convex shape is because you would say one of the internal angles is greater than 180 degrees. Okay, state the missing words in this sentence. The third shape is called R, so this is this shape here, is called A, and you're looking for 2 words, so pentagon's going to be one of them. What sort of pentagon is it? It's a regular pentagon, okay, regular pentagon because all the sides are the same length. I know that on this one because it's got that little dash over the top showing that they're all equal to each other. Okay. Question 2, describe how to draw each of these shapes. So it's not asking you to draw them, it's asking you to describe how you would draw them. Okay, in doing so you would then be showing your knowledge of the words like convex and non-convex in this question, and the fact that you know the different number of sides for each of those shapes. Okay, so a convex hexagon, so that, and it hasn't asked you about regular or irregular, so you don't need to consider that in your question. So convex hexagon, you would say a 6-sided shape with all internal angles smaller than 180 degrees. Okay, B, non-convex pentagon. Okay, so that would be pretty much what we've got here. A non-convex pentagon, so a 5-sided shape with at least one angle greater than 180 degrees. And lastly, a convex, that's not a word, sorry, convex nonagon. Okay, so that comes up to here. Nonagon is a 9-sided shape. And a convex nonagon, so a 9-sided shape with all internal angles smaller than 180 degrees. Okay, so let me just go back to our Cambridge page and check the answers. Okay, so yep, all types of pentagons. So the first and the second one are convex, and because they're less than 180, the angle's inside. C, non-convex shape, and Y, so number 2 is a non-convex shape because one interior angle is greater than 180 degrees. D, state the missing words, regular pentagon, cool. And here we've got all of our answers, so we're talking about whether it is the angles are smaller or greater than 180 degrees. And they've also drawn a picture. You didn't need to do that, but they did tell you, they did ask you to describe. Okay, so exercise 9A, just so you sort of have an idea of what that topic encompasses. So you're talking about identifying all of those words and types of shapes we talked about before. Convex and non-convex, regular and irregular, and also the types of shapes and the words associated with them in terms of how many sides they have. Okay, so nonagon, hexagon, octagon, dodecagon as well. You could also have questions like, they're labeling shapes, that's pretty straightforward. Oh, labeling the shape using the letters. Yep. And also identifying like the odd one out in a list of different things too. That can be common questions. Anyway, I feel like I've talked enough about that today. Whoops. And I'll go through more of those questions in class, and then looking at 9B, moving forward, we're looking at types of triangles. Okay, thanks.